Okay, I'm calling the meeting to order as vice chair because I happen to know that John Pasiglia, our chair, is unable to be here tonight. So I call the meeting to order. Roll call of members. John Pasiglia, not here. Matt Abbey.
Here.
Tim Blagg.
Here.
Sarah Bolduc. Here. Jeremy Ebersol.
Here.
Margot Jones here. Doug Mayo. Hey, Doug, are you here? Unmute. Or raise your hand or something. I know you're there.
I'm here.
Excellent. Okay. So this was to be is John Pasiglia's last meeting because his term is up in December. So we need to elect new officers and I'll welcome anybody.
Can I, Margot, can I nominate you to be chair? If you don't mind.
Second.
Yeah.
Sure. Should we do a slate? Want to do a slate?
No.
I don't know what that is. No, one at a time.
Acclamation.
I'm willing to accept the position if folks want me to do it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. I appreciate your confidence. And now we need a vice chair. I nominate Mr. Blagg up there in the left-hand corner. Second. Second. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Which creates a vacancy in the secretary position.
I nominate Sarah Baldock to be secretary.
I second that nomination.
Is it because of all these binders? I'm
All
trying to figure out if I'm recording.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Well, thank you.
Okay.
You know
well,
what
was-
that means, Sarah? That means you have to start taking minutes.
What do you think I'm trying to do? Not till January, right? Gonna pass it up. Just in case this doesn't work, I'm actually gonna record on my phone just to get audio.
Terrific.
I'm just gonna make a video and put it down.
Sarah's taking it very seriously. I can see.
Well, just because I don't know if this is working, and if it's not working, then I'm not.
Yeah.
Well, you should, as well. I will take minutes too to back you up, but
Nice.
I didn't mean to sabotage you there or suddenly,
Oh, no,
suddenly
please.
attack you.
Start working right
now.
I will-
I need all the encouragement I can get.
I will do the minutes for tonight and then we'll back each other up, okay?
Yeah, for sure.
And then I'll
Great.
let you know what the procedure is because there is a procedure for dealing with posting the minutes and so forth.
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, thank you, both of you. So approval, next item is approval of the November 7th meeting minutes, which were distributed by email finally. Thank you. Keep reminding me when I don't attach.
I'd like to make a comment about those. One of the things that really is the procedure we've been using for minutes is we circulate minutes to people so that they can see errors or omissions. And that all is predicated on the idea that if somebody sees an error or an omission or doesn't see one, they get back to the secretary and tell them so that the secretary can then do a final version of the minutes that is ready to be voted on at the next meeting. But in the absence of that feedback, which unfortunately has been more common than it should be, then the secretary is stuck with that not being able to go forward. And what happened in this last month was Margot had made some corrections, and then it was on her then to, because I was waiting for feedback. The only feedback I got was Margot, didn't get any from anybody else, and then the system doesn't work. So everybody has to, if you don't see any problem, fire back a thing, and this from now on to Sarah, and say, it's okay, go ahead with it, and that lets the process move forward.
Great. And may I ask some people that joined the Zoom meeting to identify yourselves so we'll have you in the minutes correctly? We know Aaron but Courtney Shanahan, with the Y,
She's a board member.
she's a board member, okay. Okay, great,
Hi.
Okay.
Yep, I'm a board member.
wonderful. Good to hear a human voice. And
And
Linda,
then there's
Linda.
also, there's me.
thank you very much.
Trying to record, hopefully.
Hello. Yes, I'm also a board member at the YMCA.
Okay, great. We have Sarah, we have Aaron, and then one more person, Kennedy Strakos Hagan. Kennedy, can you identify yourself and say hello?
Okay, yeah, resident, all right. Member of the public.
Cool.
Could we
Okay,
just have a
Ken-
voice?
Kennedy,
Voice.
what's your full name? I can only see part of it here on the screen. Kennedy?
She put it in the chat, I think. I don't know.
Can you hover over it? Does that,
That'd
does that
be
work?
great. Thank you.
if it-
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
it
okay.
probably doesn't have, yeah, it doesn't have a microphone or whatever, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
All right, great.
and then,
So,
I think Don is another member of the public.
okay. Don, can you
We know
identify
Dawn.
yourself, please?
You
Yeah.
know, Don, yeah.
Okay. All right, so would someone move the minutes as corrected and distributed?
Yeah, I make a motion, we approve the minutes.
I
Second.
it.
Second by Jeremy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. So, as is the norm for these meetings, we're doing old business first. A quick update on the Mass Historic Commission Survey and Planning Grant. It has been completed, but given that this meeting was heavily booked, we're going to have a presentation of the grant by the in the January meeting. And basically, he's going to give an overview of what was inventoried, show you a couple sample inventory forms, show the map, and make recommendations as to next steps. But he has wrapped it up and it's done, and it's very exciting because we now have 140 forms that are, you know, if this is the average level of our forms and the quality of them, they're now up there. So we have a higher standard, but it's great. Okay, CPC. Sarah, you want to give us an update on that?
We have not met yet. So as far as I'm aware, there are no official updates, but we did have,
I don't understand.
oh, sorry.
Oh,
We had an impromptu kind of a training session, so we're actually getting into the procedure. We're gonna actually start having 2 meetings a month, starting next month.
oh,
So we'll really get into the nitty gritty of it. Apparently the town really likes pickleball. I don't think you're the third president for that, but the long and short of it is not that it's directly related to what we're doing at the CPC, but the CPC did inspire me to request a Google Drive for the Historic Commission from the IT department here at the city, because the CPC does everything on the drive, and I think that will really help us communicate and have documents available for everyone, so we can all be talking the same language. So I'm working with Aaron and IT to make that happen.
terrific, great. Okay. If you could mute everybody, sorry, I asked you to unmute and then it'd be good to mute. Okay, so speaking of CPC, we supported the Greenfield Public Library CPC application
Yes.
to upgrade, well, not to upgrade, but to take adequate care of the documents and resources that are in the history room, Greenfield History Room. And they're not asking for a very large amount of money. They would get a consultant in from the state who is an archive specialist, and she or he would actually make recommendations and help them set up the boxes, et cetera, so that will protect the documents. And I went and got a tour of the history room today, and it is definitely needed, very much so. So we supported them. What we didn't do was we didn't declare that those documents are of local history value, significance. And I've created a letter that says that if you agree that those materials are extremely important to our local history and are worthy of getting a CPC grant. So, did I share that letter with you all? No, I think I just shared it with them. At any rate, I just told you what's in it. And so if you approve my wording, then I'll ship that off as from the Greenfield Historic Commission.
Yeah.
Move that
Yeah.
the letter
Motion.
be,
Yeah,
move that the letter be approved.
thank you, Tim. Second,
Margot, I should have mentioned before, you've got people in the meeting room who aren't identified as well, not only people on this. The thing.
yes, no, I know. Well, they've identified themselves, but you want me to go through it again?
They haven't gone through it in front of me, so.
Okay, sorry, right. Why don't we start with Anthony?
With the Greenfield report.
Okay, Sandy Thomas, president. Great.
Brady Vigneault, Franklin County's YMCA.
I'm Tracy Bishop from the YMCA.
Hear that at all, I'm sorry.
You can't hear it at all?
I couldn't hear the last woman, she's too fast and
Oh,
she's too polite. She needs to yell.
Tina Newton, YMCA.
Tina Newton.
we've got it here, Tim. But that's
There's one new person on the screen I see. Sarah, S-A-R-A,
Oh,
it looks like is
Oh,
joined.
there's two of us.
Sarah's. Sarah, could you identify yourself and maybe give us your last name? The Sarah without an H. Very hard to know who's here if people don't identify themselves. Okay, we'll move on.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm from the Y as well. Sarah Hannon. Sorry.
Okay, all right,
Trying to
great.
figure it out on my phone.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of tricky. All right, so the next item of,
Did we get a second on the letter? I can second.
no, we didn't. Okay, thank you, Jeremy. All those in favor?
Yep, favor.
Can we have it sent along anyway, just for the record?
Yes.
Cool.
Oh, I will definitely share it with, yeah,
Yeah, please.
I can do it at the end of the meeting. I'll be able to find files a little quicker. Okay, so the YMCA Church has submitted an application for demolition of the Zion Church building. And I forwarded that to everybody here, and I hope you got to study it. I think according to the process of demolition delay bylaw, we have in front of us a vote to take to whether we believe the building is significant and whether it meets the criteria of the ordinance as significant. And if so, what is our next step after that? So I wasn't expecting a presentation from anybody, but we understand that you've submitted quite a lengthy application to demolish. And did anybody have any questions about it?
I didn't have any questions. I did take a moment to review it. I believe that the church does have a card, historic property card in the Macris system. So I do believe that would make it historically significant on some level if it, was in that system.
Yeah, yeah, I think the specific question, which I think is something is the predominant area of our purview, like, is the building historic? There's no, regardless of what would happen or any other questions, is the building historic? There's no question that it is. I don't think there's no logical way to argue that it's not historic. I don't think. Yeah, it's been identified. It's on the National Register of Historic
It's on the
Places.
National Register. It's a contributing property.
There are lots of other, potential points of conversation around this question, but the question of, is it historic? I think it's been established by a number of, by the city, by the state, by the federal government that it is. So
Can I ask one question really quickly? So by on the National Registry, it is on the National Registry as part of the historic district. The building itself is not on the National Registry as as historic building, so I just want to understand the clarification, right?
No, it is. It's a contributing property in the district.
In the district,
Right.
right, right, but
So that means it qualifies as significant.
right, so I just want to make sure it's not listed separate from the district, correct?
it's not individually listed to my, but for the purposes of like, is it historic or not? To say like, it's it doesn't, there can be buildings in historic districts that are not contributing to the historic district. But that's not the case here. So whether it's individually listed or part of a district doesn't change the level of significance.
Well, and being that it's contributing property, that building is one of the reasons why the district is there. So even if it's not listed, on its own.
Right. And I mean, the National Register likes to have districts that are made up of very significant buildings. So, when we created that district, it was because of the building.
And when buildings are removed, like if a contributing building to a historic district is removed, it diminishes the integrity of the entire district. If enough of those buildings disappear, then the entire historic district can be a risk. So they all kind of, in the district, they all kind of work together as a cohesive whole, ideally.
So I would entertain a motion to approve that the building is considered historic. I mean, we should get the ordinance up. Can you?
So
get up
moved.
here?
No, I have the macros.
You have the form,
I
great.
do, yes.
Yeah, but we have to comply with the ordinance regulations.
Yeah,
and
I can pull
I
it.
have it, but
Give me 1 second.
And so moved.
thanks, Tim. Second,
Yeah, so the ordinance, there's, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot to it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have the flow chart.
The flow chart?
There's a
Right.
Yeah, I can pull up the flow chart.
circle
You're looking
and
at the demo delay ordinance?
arrows and
Yeah,
I got it right here. Oh, good.
Yeah, I mean,
New paper?
so if,
Great.
so inspector of buildings checks ordinance list for applicability. Fund list if listed. Application send to Greenfield Historical Commission within 7 days. I guess that's where we are.
Yep,
Preliminary determination of applicability by commission/town staff. If ordinance is applicable, applicant and town officials are notified within 7 days. Hearing public notice, 14 days, applicant notifies abutters 7 days, and public hearing held within 45 days. And the actual ordinance itself, like, how do we determine if a building is historically significant? I mean, that's in the
it's in the ordinance.
so I can read,
Okay.
find like the relevant area there. I mean, yeah, again, there's a lot.
Do you want me to do it? It's under significant building. A, any building or structure individually listed on the National Register or any building evaluated by Mass Historic to be a contributing building within a National Register.
Yeah. That's what a significant building is.
Yeah. So I guess we just want to affirm that it falls under the ordinance. It complies with the ordinance requirements.
Yeah, and this here and in, 241(3)(b). So the Greenfield Historical Commission shall determine that a structure be designated as a significant structure if it meets one or more of the following criteria. It is listed on or is within an area listed on the National Register of Historic Places, or is the subject of a pending application for listing on said National Register. That's 241(3)(b)(1). And then there's other criteria, but I mean,
That's it.
and I'm just glancing at this, even if it's not like on the register, even if we kind of determine that it's historically significant to the town, even if it's not on a register in the district. I mean, I don't even think it even says here if it has a card.
We don't need-
But there's no question about that. I don't know, I think we're kind of tiptoeing around the fact that it is maybe to kind of put it in layman's terms, is our intent to incite the demolition delay on this building.
So let's first address Tim's motion that we believe it's significant.
And I second that.
You seconded? Okay. All those in favor to confirm it? Okay. So we have a significant building, and then the procedure is spelled out if whether the next thing is to have a public hearing within 45 days of the application. So I guess we schedule one.
Must be business, not calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I talked to Eric about it, and he said, well, usually they happen at the standard meeting dates. And Aaron wants it in this room. It's gonna be a little tricky, but anyway,
Could get crowded.
yeah. So the earliest we could do would be January 5th, January.
I guess we'd have to make it within 45. Yeah, if it's
Yeah,
one of
month
this
and a
regularly
half.
scheduled.
Yeah. January 2nd. Right. Does that sound good?
Let me chime in for a minute. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm sorry, I'm at CVS because I need wrapping paper. I would suggest not doing it January 2nd because that is right after, like, that's the second day of the year. I would suggest putting it off to the next month. That would be my suggestion.
Is that within 45 days, Aaron?
It's within 45 business days, yeah.
Oh, business days.
It's not listed, just a quick question, it's not listed as business days, it is understood as 45 days.
45.
That's my
Yeah.
Calendar days. Okay, all right.
45 days.
Well, I think we could have a special meeting. Yeah.
I think there'll be
Wouldn't be a
interest in
bad
the
idea.
community, I think, in
Yeah.
that. So I think,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
So
think,
how about 2 weeks after that?
yeah, I was gonna say, I think that'd be preferable just so we can separate like the
Yeah.
regular stuff that we normally have at the
Let
meetings
me-
from this.
Yes, Aaron? Yeah.
Let me look at the calendar tonight when I get home and I will send out an email tonight and let you know. We can tentatively say the 2nd, just
No.
in case there isn't anything else, but I think there should be another time that we could do this.
Now, going forward, also, the 18th, we have a CPC meeting, but going forward, they'll have 2 meetings every month, and we have not yet scheduled those meetings.
Oh,
So I will keep you posted.
okay. Well, I would like to suggest January 16th.
So I would just like to note that our application was submitted November
19th.
19th. So November 19th is when it was date stamped.
But we have 5 days to get it. So it's,
But it,
and
does-
at a regularly scheduled meeting, and we have 45 days.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm not sure the 16th would still fall within that, you can check that.
Sure.
Is it 45 days from today when we're from the meeting?
I believe so.
No, 45 days from now, if I counted correctly, is
Well,
January
unless-
19th.
Section 241(4) procedure in the ordinance says that shall hold a public hearing within 45 days of receiving a copy of such application. So I think you guys might have received it before now,
What was the number again?
241-4.
We received
Yeah,
it
it's
like
right here.
Monday. We only got it on like Monday,
Yeah.
so that doesn't put us terribly far behind.
Receiving a copy of that. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that is what sense. It would be 45 days from the day that we.
Well, we
receive
want
the
to do the
application.
Thursday after the 2nd, the 9th.
Do we know when we received?
Well, you
Ninth.
submitted it on the 9th, but yeah, I didn't get it. John didn't get it till,
Did you get it the day that you sent it out?
no, I got it a couple days before that.
We could ask Eric.
I guess we need to-
That would be a good resolution.
The hard part is getting everyone's calendars all together.
Yeah, I guess we need to know when that date that we received a copy of the application was.
Is it on the application itself?
I have the application. in here, too.
I mean, that says when they submitted it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's November 19th, but that's not when we got it. That's when
You could
it
just-
was submitted to the city or like filed.
5 days
The November
from there versus,
19th.
Hmm.
The only stamp on it is November 19th, but that's not when we got it. I don't think. You have like,
Yeah,
An email,
unfortunately,
like, when-
we actually got it, John and I got it on the 20th of November.
okay,
So we better be within 45 days of the 20th.
okay. Let me,
But the thing is, the commission needs to vote and the next meeting was tonight, so it's. You
It's
know,
kind of like, yeah.
yeah. I
Don't
don't
you
think
got
we
all the
wanna-
holidays?
I don't think we want to do it over December holiday.
yeah, so based on my counting, 45 calendar days from November 20th
mhm,
is January 4th.
uh-huh.
Yeah. So if that's,
So we better do it the second.
to clarify, but if that's what. the
Aaron, are
regulation-
you still there? Does somebody want to move?
I'm here, yes.
Yeah, we need to do it on the 22nd to comply
The
with the
second.
four, the January 2nd.
Okay, yeah, I was listening. It sounds like that's what it has to be.
Yep,
Yeah, so we can get that out there and then make sure that it goes out as we'll take care of it all, make sure everything is done for the hearing properly. All that jazz.
okay, great, yeah, it's spelled
Yeah.
out in the ordinance,
Yeah,
who gets
Yep.
notified.
it'll need to be in the paper like next week or so. I
Yeah.
guess.
Hey, Anthony.
You don't do
Yeah.
classifieds, do you? Yeah, right.
Yeah, I will get right on that tomorrow. And Margot, can
Nice
you
people
please
coming
I hope you can hear me again. I'm sorry, I'm at the
Yeah,
pharmacy.
no, it's fine.
Can you please email me your phone number so I can touch base with you on the phone tomorrow?
Sure,
That
Yeah.
would be very helpful. Thank you.
Yep. yep. Okay, and when we had a public hearing before about the fire station, it was prior to our normal meeting, our regular meeting, I believe, but don't hold me to that. Does anybody else remember?
I
No,
wasn't on the commission at the time.
you remember, Tim?
Yeah, it
Was
doesn't make
before?
any difference. You can do it before, you can do it after.
Yeah,
I think what we did is we did a little couple of items of routine business, then we went into the public hearing. And there wasn't any great delay or pause there because we didn't do a lot of other business, but you could do it either way.
yeah.
I think it makes sense
For
to
the
have,
demo.
convene the
Okay.
meeting and then go into the public hearing. I think that's what commissions usually do.
Right, because we're gonna have a presentation from our historic consultant, so I don't wanna
I don't think
not
you want
give
to
him
mix those two.
adequate.
Do we have an extra meeting?
I
for
don't think
that?
you want to mix those two, Margot.
Well,
I don't think you do. If you can't do a lot of business and then have a public hearing too, that's just too much to cram into that package. I mean, if you have no choice, we'll have to do it, but we certainly don't
well,
want,
his presentation is gonna be 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay, well, then definitely need to do that first.
Yeah.
And then go into the hearing, because we don't know how long the hearing's gonna take.
No, the hearing won't be 10 minutes. Yeah. Okay, very good. So I think we've made that official, January 2nd, pending approval by the city.
And
And
hopefully we won't have a bunch of people yelling at us like we did last time.
well,
I'm sure it will be.
I think we could say, given that our normal meeting starts at 5, this would be 5:30. January 2nd. And folks are invited, and it'll be a mixed meeting like this. We want to hear from anyone who cares about this question. Okay,
Can I ask a couple follow-ups, just so I understand next steps?
sure.
So same reference 241.4 procedure in section B. Just want to make sure who does what, agreement on who does the next steps. So now that a hearing date has been decided, Greenfield Historical Commission shall hold a public hearing within 45 days of receiving a copy of the application and shall give notice thereof by publishing. So the Historical Commission will be publishing that public hearing date.
Notice, yeah.
Yes.
It's
okay.
just a notice, yep.
Yeah, and then the Greenfield Historical Commission mail a copy of the notice to applicant at least 7 days prior to the hearing, and then you'll also distribute that notice to the said departments in the section. Just want to make sure. Okay.
Yeah,
And then the final section is we then are responsible and should notify all of the abutters also within 7 days, final section. So our responsibility in this is making sure all of our abutters are notified within 7 days.
Yeah, I would say that's
That's-
correct.
yeah.
That's how I understood it.
Yeah, the applicant shall notify all abutting land. Yeah, so that's like all of our notices, that's happens between us and the city, right?
and do you understand the definition of abutting
Yes,
landowners?
yes.
Okay,
Make sure they go out to all.
Specifically landowners who are up against our property. That's
right.
not too hard. We had to just-
No, I don't think it is beyond abutting.
It's on both sides of the street, just on our side of the street.
That might be a good
A
question. for Mark
lawyer,
to know.
yeah.
Mark,
Because
because he would know, because it would probably be the same definition as if you were doing any other sort of work that you had to notify abutters. So he would.
Especially traffic, they have to.
Yeah.
Traffic, it might be a thing. Worst case scenario, I would do all four. Both sides.
Right, the ordinance doesn't define
It
abutting.
doesn't define a butter, no. Okay, does that answer your questions?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any
If
other
it's helpful.
comments or questions from anyone?
If it's helpful, a lot of times the town code defers to the state. If the state has a definition of abutters, you might find that useful.
Hi,
as far
point
as,
of
like,
order. The abutters is a certified list that comes from the assessing department. So
Oh,
in order for it to
gotcha.
be legal, it has to be all stamped.
Gotcha.
Okay, thanks, Stephanie.
Other new people.
So, okay. And at that meeting, we will determine whether the demolition should be delayed or not.
We make the decision at that meeting.
Yeah. I believe so. Okay. I think that covers this topic. Anybody else have any other comments?
No.
Yeah.
We should keep in contact. So just be in case there are things that come up in between now and then, scheduling, anything like that. You should all just be in contact with one another to make sure that it happens the right way at the right time.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Okay, moving on. Thank you for your attendance and the review of the MHC Mill Street Dam letter relative to the emergency repair of the dam. I believe everybody got that letter in prior to this meeting, and shall we discuss it?
Pretty straightforward.
Oh, yeah.
The dam, the repairs are needed. They're emergency repairs. The town's ready to do it. It's pretty straightforward. Doesn't really impact us at all since the dam is simply being repaired. So I can't imagine why it would be any concern to us.
Exactly. Anybody want to make a motion to that effect?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
I just, the one they mentioned in the letter, the MHC non-emergency work on the dam, they're reconstructing the right training wall, right end of spillway and outlet support pier. I don't know if we know, I don't know if that would change a vote or anything, but I don't know if we know anything about that non-emergency work. I mean, it's all underwater. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
I don't think it's,
We don't need-
if,
not really, maybe.
I mean, our best interest is to preserve the dam best we can and that,
Yeah.
or, facilitate the preservation of the dam. And I mean, that would be just, letting the town do whatever work it sees fit in
Yeah.
order to kind of keep it up. I mean, even if it's not 100% historically accurate in terms of visuals or whatever, I mean, like my opinion on it is just whatever needs to happen to it to kind of keep it
The site
from
itself
falling
is
in.
significant.
Yeah.
And I think that dam has been worked on and worked on and worked on. So there may be some pieces of it that are the original pieces, but there's probably not a heck of a lot left, especially since all that infrastructure was run through it.
It's
Right,
the fact
so-
that keeping the dam intact helps keep the museum and all that historic building intact. So it's just,
Yeah.
it's gonna continue to preserve the whole corridor, the repairs will.
Yeah. So our comment would be, we support the letter. Yeah,
Yes,
I don't think we have to vote on that.
no.
All right. And then review proposed multifamily housing project at 170 to 186 Main Street. And that one was, let's see, where is that? Did you get that?
So I
Yes, I did.
understand that that's right on the bank. It's on the embankment of the railroad cut that goes under Main Street. And it's on the west side of the
Yeah,
embankment. That building runs along there. And I think that's the building they're talking about.
It's the one with the copy center and
Yeah.
Light Dreams.
Motivate Dreams and
All
there's.
the my dreams, yeah.
Right, it's not that little building that's now just a fence.
No,
It's
I
actually,
think that's the
yeah,
building. that's-
yeah.
It's north of that.
Yeah, this,
yeah,
Yeah,
just west of it.
I mean, west
think-
of, I'm sorry, west of,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure in the application though, I think the town owns that
Right.
small parcel currently, and I think in the application they mentioned they were going to, the town was planning on, or the city, sorry, city was planning on doing an RFP for acquiring just that little bit of land. It's really not much. I think they just
I've-
wanted to.
They have advertised it,
include
right,
it in
Aaron?
that-
Have you
in
seen
that
that ad?
project.
Yeah, there will have to be an RFP. I don't think that has happened, but there will
It
have to
has.
be
I
one.
saw it in the paper.
Okay, good. Like
Yeah,
I said, I'm a little behind. I've only been home a couple days. I apologize.
that's okay. So some of this depends on getting more land. Some of the plans.
Yeah,
I think so. I think the ask of us, as a historic commission was just to determine like, are the buildings that are currently there that are going to be demolished, are those historically significant? Would it,
I think we had talked about it
that was the ask.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And they had some details in there about, it used to be like a 3-story building, those couple of storefronts there, and sometime in the 60s, top 2 floors were demolished, and there's some satellite imagery of some houses behind it that are now demolished, and it's just a parking lot. My my view on that is that there's really nothing of historic significance on the site right now. So I don't think it would really affect, or it's really under our purview as Historic Commission to.
I do think that the PNF's a little thin.
Yeah.
Like, why aren't they showing us what's there now? They really aren't. I mean, they show some historic context that doesn't relate, I don't believe. Oh, I see, it does relate. It is the building that was there, but without its 3 stories. Yeah,
That's gone anyway.
yeah, right.
Well, related to the historic significance, I have not done extensive research to verify this one bit of information that I found, so I don't know. But I know I've mentioned before, like the Woolworths, and I know the Woolworths, everyone thinks of the Woolworths as a building farther down. There's at least this one account that I found online noting that the Woolworths that we think of that's farther down the road opened in 1955 to replace the smaller store located at 174 Main Street, which was the original Woolworth location. So opened in April, renovated to house a Clear Weave apparel store, which opened on April 2nd, 1955 and operated until 1959. So it sounds like the Woolworths started at 174 where Moldavite Dreams is now before moving to the larger building. Again, I don't know that rises to the level of it's historic significant because the Woolworths, this major food store, was there one time. But in my limited research, that was the one interesting historical, I guess, connotation, relevance of the building. But again, whether that rises to the level, obviously the integrity of the building has been diminished quite a bit over the years, losing 2 of the floors.
I mean, I find the plan interesting in that they're filling in the parking lot and they're really minimal in providing parking. That's not our purview at all. So I shouldn't strike that comment, but it's heartening to see more housing going in our community. And if it's not, I mean, the historic significance of the buildings they want to demolish has been lost.
It's pretty minuscule, yeah.
Yeah.
Do we just to clarify, do we have, I know we don't necessarily have purview. Do we have a point where we comment on design elements and compatibility with the
Well, it is
other
part of the Main
buildings?
Street
Yes.
Historic District.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, it is in the
Within
Main
the
Street.
district, it has to
Right.
meet a certain standard.
okay. And we don't comment on things like, like usage. I mean, I have thoughts of having no commercial in the middle of the commercial district, is a thought that I have. Yeah, but again, I don't know if that's within our purview to comment on now or at a future point or not.
Not really.
Not really. Okay.
Not really, no. So-
Agreed. That would be something that you would want to discuss at a planning committee, planning, zoning.
Plan-
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
But we can comment on the aesthetics, the proposed
Okay.
aesthetics,
And-
and whether it fits the scale and character of the downtown historic district.
Yeah.
If you're curious, you can look at the project with the Wilsons, because it was a totally different looking building. They put the facade on it, and the project they're doing now, they cultivated the way that it looks now to meet the definitions and the standards of what it used to look like.
No, they're taking the metal off and it's there.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so they don't have to recreate it. There's all that detail.
that's very cool. I'm
Yeah.
excited about that.
Whereas this
Yeah.
is the new building.
Right.
And-
right. We do have some, but we are able to comment on the
Yeah.
design of new buildings within.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think,
That's the most important part. Of it.
I
It's pretty.
believe we can comment whether it meets the scale and character of our historic district, the commercial historic district.
Yeah, we have talked about that in other projects, facade projects over the years, where we commented on the color that they chose, the type of windows, and had a nice conversation with the people who are doing the work and have been able to influence some of that stuff. To say, yes, how about using a dark green instead of pure white? And how about using a green frame on the window instead of chrome, that kind of thing.
Yeah, okay. And those are all suggestions that we make. No.
Yeah, and that's usually with an existing building or a storefront within an existing building that where other storefronts are there to compare. In this case, it's all new. I mean, the renderings to me seem they are contemporary, and that's acceptable. I mean, you want a building to express its age, and this will be new. It just feels like there's not a lot of detail to the way the windows are. They're kind of at small scale. I don't know. I would wish there could be a little more design emphasis. That's not the right word, but
A little more to the taste of the district, a little more in line with.
yeah, a
you know.
little higher quality construction, and it seems a little simplified. Like it's kind of like a box.
Yeah, I don't remember who's the owner of this building or who's doing this project.
Austin Design is the designer, and it's being submitted on behalf of, there's a letter with it.
Yep, it's,
And they're affordable apartments.
was it that, the place in Turner's next to the airport?
I don't know, that's why I'm asking, but my
Rural
point.
Development Inc.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
that's
Federal
the one.
Well,
Yeah,
so my point is maybe we invite them to a historic commission meeting, under the premise that they are constructing inside of the Main Street Historic District, and, like other projects in the past in the district or on historic buildings, just have them, ask them if they had a presentation, once they have maybe more solid plans or revised plans to kind of just present what they're doing. So then we can kind of have that conversation, like Tim said, just kind of give design input, just so it, fits in with the rest of the buildings in the area.
That's a great idea.
I don't know what our timeline is on this.
Yeah.
He did come earlier, like 3 months ago, remember? And then the PNF got rejected, and then it's being resubmitted.
Okay.
And it was submitted in July. There isn't anybody it's Alyssa from Franklin County Regional Housing and Development. Yeah, rural development. Well, do you want to postpone it, or can we just say in general we approve it, but with
Well, yeah, like I mean, like, as I've previously stated, I don't think the demolition of the existing buildings, would be extremely detrimental to.
Yeah, we're also a long way away
Anything.
from taking down the building to building the new
Yeah.
building.
Yeah,
So we
so,
have plenty of
yeah, I
time.
think in terms of like what our ask is, like from Mass Historic Commission, I don't have any comment on the project.
I agree.
Okay. Yeah, so when they rejected their application, they said, please clarify the project scope and give us comments from Greenfield Historic Commission. So,
So we'll have to write a letter,
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, I think there are things that can be said, yeah, about the design and its compatibility. Sounds like we don't do that here. we just determine whether or not we approve
Yeah,
the idea of demolition.
well, it's not
Or-
whether, I think we
Sorry.
can,
No. Well, yeah, I think that would come when they actually apply for the,
Demolition.
like, as we've
Right.
kind of already been going through, like, when they actually apply for a demolition permit, I mean, you know, if we all of a sudden go, oh, wait, this, you know,
Yeah.
these buildings are
Yeah.
historic, then, but I think this is more like a preliminary comments
right.
sort of thing.
I agree.
I think the building isn't contributing. Can you
trying
check
to
that?
pull this, I'm still learning this, so it's part of the so it's this central Main Street area. I'm trying to see like where the Main Street Historic District. Can't tell if it includes this separate central Main Street area or if they're different. If they're different.
I can find that if you give me a minute.
Like, yeah, I just pulled up the Main Street Historic District Register nomination. See if there's a map here.
No, it's not in Macros.
Main Street District?
No,
Or
it's not. The district is, but those
Yeah.
buildings are not listed.
Well, if you look at the Main Street District, you'll see there's a attached list of contributing buildings or not. They list all the buildings in the district and then it says C contributing or NC non-contributing.
It's 170. What is the address?
Yeah,
It is.
170 to 186.
That's it.
Sorry, guys,
Yeah,
I gotta go. I've got a conflict. I've got to go. Sorry. See you guys.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Tim. Bye. It
Yeah.
wasn't updated in our survey and planning grant
Yeah.
because it wasn't historic.
As I'm looking at the Main Street Historic District, this list of addresses. I feel like this it might be like a budding, but not
Yeah.
in the Main Street Historic District.
Oh,
I'm looking at the Main Street Historic District National Register nomination now. And here's the map. And if that's the railroad here, we're like right next to it. And this is the border, this is the district.
Also, well, yeah,
I think
looking
it's-
at that map, it's like not even
Not
in the
even in
district,
there.
actually.
I think it's right.
But
And Mara, you may know, so this is like the
yeah,
western
yeah.
end.
That's why
This
it
is
it
the-
didn't get.
So I think it's like
updated.
right here-ish is the
Yeah.
building.
Yeah,
Because I was sure when I read the MHP's, they,
why did they even comment?
because it looks within the central Main Street area, which is on the inventory, but not part of the district. And so it's
Not on
in
the
close
register.
proximity to the Main Street Historic District.
Yeah,
And Benson's New Block and Mohawk Chambers, both of which are listed in the state and national register. So it's like it's surrounded by,
yeah,
but I guess it's not officially listed on the national register. So it doesn't mean that it couldn't be historic, but isn't like designated, it seems like, from my understanding from what I've seen.
right. Well, that's important to know. Comment, yeah,
Um,
yeah, you're looking, at it, right. It ends.
You're talking about this right here? These
Yeah.
are two overlapping districts, aren't they? Oh, yeah,
Well, what's this one?
Central Main Street area.
Area, yeah, it's just an
Yeah,
area,
so it's like a,
not a district, yeah.
it could like, maybe,
It's a commercial district, other industrial, other institutional, residential district.
Yeah,
okay,
but it's not a historic district.
yeah.
Right.
But it's still, I mean,
Okay.
still the look and feel of being so close to the historic district. You know, I think the look,
They
the
wanted,
character of the building, it'll be the first, I mean, new building downtown in what, 20 years or so, which isn't bad. It's-
No, library.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're right.
But I
figured
I don't know, I
everyone's right
think,
and
I think we're kind of getting to the like semantics of it a little too much. I think just overall there's not really much to comment on from a historic perspective on that particular property.
so I don't want to drag her back. I don't think we need to.
Agreed.
All right. Do we have to make a motion or anything, or,
Yeah, let's make a motion.
all right, make a motion that we have no comment on it?
Well, then we'll make
Or you'll
I'll
write something
comment.
about.
Mass
Okay.
Historic, and then we'll
Yep.
say that we don't feel it's under our purview, essentially. Yeah,
Seconded.
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you. Under new business, we had quite a few demolition applications. And John processed them. There were none that he needed to bring to our attention.
Will he continue to get those applications?
I will have to set it up that they go to me now. Yeah, with Mark. So I will do that. There is the item of selective interior demolition to delete hazardous materials at the Zion Church. And I understand that's been approved and has been happening. Is that
No.
correct? No.
No, we were told that we could not, absolutely not move forward with asbestos abatement
Okay,
until you guys gave us the approval. So that's why we stayed here.
Okay, sorry about that. We're like dragging this on. So just for clarification, so this is a separate permit
Yes.
from the other one. Okay, okay.
So a little background, if I could explain for just a second. So, couple things to side note, because I feel like there's, an understanding that our intent is absolutely to demolish the church. That has never absolutely been our intent. So I just want you guys to understand that we've gone through a significant amount of work to try to find somebody to move that building. And we're not stopping that. So even though we have a contract signed for demolition, we do want to move forward with asbestos abatement. And primarily, if we do find someone to move the building, that's going to be an important first step to have to do before they can move. It is also a significant step to complete section 10 of the demo permit application for the town. So we actually officially can't complete or submit a completed application
mhm,
for demo until we abate the asbestos. So we would like to move forward with getting some sort of verbal approval so that we can move forward with Mark to get the construction demo to remove the asbestos that we noted. So part of the large piece of that application is related to the
This is it.
Commission includes the asbestos report and the areas that will be abated.
Letter, sorry. This is all the parts.
yeah,
You don't feel, there's nothing that's going to be removed that will potentially cause damage to the interior. We do have a section of the additional piece, so not the original church, but the carriage house. The connecting piece of the carriage house, that roofing has asbestos, so there is gonna be some removal, but our intent, because of the timing of the year, is to recover it so that no additional damage takes place. So it wasn't that we were gonna remove and leave it open, we want to replace. And then move forward with the process of determining still if we can find somebody that would like to move the church. We have had interest, we have had people in there measuring, we have had feedback as to why they're not gonna move it. But we'd like to continue with the process to at least do the asbestos abatement. Do the shut-offs, which also would be an important piece of completing the demo permit application as well as moving of the building. So we'd like to be able to complete all those steps and still go through the process of, the hearing, the delay, and still try to find somebody if we can.
So question, you just mentioned that shut off of utility connections is included in this application with the asbestos
Section
abatement?
10, right?
Okay.
And we clarified with Mark to make sure we were understanding it correctly. Those things do have to be completed and noted on the permit before it will be technically complete. So we can't submit it and then do it. In order for it to be a completed application, it has to be done in there.
Okay, yeah, so my question then would be, if you do asbestos abatement, you disconnect the utilities, and then it's later determined that would be to the benefit to keep the building where it is, would you be able to reconnect those utilities?
You can reconnect it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Because nothing else is moving. So
Okay.
we're not gonna dig ground. We're not gonna, move any piping. We're not going underneath the earth. It's simply gonna be an at the street connection shut off.
Okay.
And primarily too, that's for our liability, right? So right
Yeah.
now, although we have the valves shut off and we do have the connection of water so that nothing freezes, we do still have electricity going to the building. And so that, depending on whether or not something happens, we would pay for something to happen and completely shut it off.
Just to clarify, and to piggyback on what you just said about just a shut off on the street, it is actually a disconnect, just to
Yes.
clarify.
Yeah.
To make sure.
No, we have the water shut off now though.
It's currently shut
Shut
off.
Okay.
Yes,
But it
that's
would actually be a disconnect
Mhm.
where we would have a property come in.
Yeah, okay, so my comment on that is, yeah, you guys can join the meeting. My comment on that would be, kind of like in the same vein of doing work to the Mill Street Dam. I think, kind of getting hazardous materials out of there would be of benefit, regardless of the final fate of the building. Especially if if we do come to a conclusion that, if the building does need to, does stay in place, then you guys, have already have some of the dirty work done in order to, use it in the best interest of the Y.
Well, my only question is the glue daubs in the church building. I would wish that you could postpone removal of that, because once you start tearing out, you'll probably end up taking plaster with you and other historic materials that are there.
So let me ask you this, if the resolution is that it stays in place, is it advisable to keep asbestos in the building even? If
Oh,
it
no,
stays in
not at
place?
all.
So
No,
eventually, we would have to do that work.
right. But you might do it in a different way than if it's going to be demolished. I mean, if the building is going to be demolished, you just go in and you just take the ceiling down and the glue daubs with it and the plaster behind it and whatever, it's not carefully done. But if you're actually going to preserve the building, then you do need to follow procedures to make sure you're not removing anything else. That's
So my
important.
understanding is that the intent is just to remove the glue daubs, it's not to pull. And, we can clarify, but, if the work's going to have to be done, we can ask for them to do it in the most preservable fashion possible.
How can we make that?
I know, yeah.
You have a copy of the contract, it was in the application, so you know what our intent.
I know, here's another
Yeah,
one.
Sarah.
Remember when the CRC came to us to talk about their building on Bank Road?
Yeah,
And how we had talked about how the interior of the building wasn't really our purview because we
Yeah.
were mostly with the exterior. Does that apply here as well?
well, that was an addition on the original building and it wasn't historic at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna go with, I think regardless of how the asbestos is removed, as long as like the main structure of the building isn't compromised by asbestos removal, which I can't, I mean, I'm no expert, but I can't imagine it would be. I don't think, I just, my thing is like, I don't want to like stand in the way of maybe like giving the building another chance. And and I think, this little piece of the work is kind of an important part of that.
I mean, to me, it's kind of revolves around, I don't know the answer to this question, but revolves around the question of whether would anything that would happen through the asbestos abatement compromise the ability of the building to, we talked about how if it's demolished, doesn't matter. If it's moved, you said that this stuff needs to happen anyway. But yeah, this question of the possibility that this building does not go anywhere and it stays there, would any of this work for, to abate the asbestos make it more difficult for the building to be reused in place or preserved? If not, and that's, we can know that with confidence, then yeah, great, we have to do it. But if this would make preservation more difficult because again, the abatement is done, if, the roof being removed and covered with the plastic, like if that,
But that part isn't,
I mean, that's the different part, just about the church building.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess that's, and I don't have an answer, but I guess maybe if you have thoughts on that question.
Yeah, I mean, if you can guarantee that the substrate below, above the glue daubs remains in good shape,
So
then fine, we would go okay with it. Because I don't think there's anything else in the church itself.
You're worried about the like little sliding on the walls, that type of thing?
or
No,
Is that-
No.
it's in the ceiling.
so the
The
ceiling.
whole ceiling tile's not original.
Right, no, I know.
Was completely disassembled, moved, stored, and rebuilt late
Yeah.
thirties.
Yeah.
So the integrity of the original structure, so if you've ever had the opportunity, maybe not yet, to be up in the steeple, the integrity of those boards and beams, that will remain fully intact. The integrity of the original building will remain fully intact,
Yeah.
even with the removal of this substance.
So. Well. okay.
I don't think, even if you accidentally take some plastic, I think we're looking a little too far into this. I think,
Well,
as
it
of
was rebuilt
previously.
in the thirties, is it plaster above the tile? Was it adhered to plaster or was
Honestly, if I remember correctly, when I was on those rafters,
it? Mhm.
that's the only thing between the rafters and the room. Because you can clearly see where the lights are connected to the beams and you can see the light below. So I don't even believe that there's a layer of.
There's no substrate. So the glue daubs are on the rafters? I mean, are on the joists?
I think there
Ceiling
might be some
joists?
slat.
Yeah, there's gotta be something.
But it's structurally, it's not, it doesn't have any substance to it, if that makes
Right, yeah,
sense.
yeah.
You wouldn't want to step on it. In fact, they've made it such that you have a walking path so that you're not stepping on it.
Yeah. Okay. What's our pleasure?
I think it sounds good for everyone ultimately.
Just
Yeah,
for
because
the-
it benefits.
Specifically the hazmat request.
And just, I guess, confirming, that we all, sounds like we're all in agreement that this would not impact the ability of the church to be
Yeah.
reused in place.
And so we can move forward with everything as part of section 10 to get that demo permit complete. I just want to remind you
Yeah,
also.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. That's it for new business that I had before me. Anything else? Any other new business?
No?
Got nothing. I make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
Do I hear a second?
Does anybody remember how to turn off the Zoom?
Yeah, I have it written. Oh, hold on a second. I have it. All right. So we're
We're adjourned.
adjourned
We're
at
adjourned.
whatever, 6:11.